Due to possible harmful extremist content, parental discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. The views and opinions expressed on the show are not necessarily those of the station, its affiliates, or advertisers. The use of the show is only allowed with the express written permission of the producer and the host. So get ready for 2 hours of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show starting right now.
In here, and then I'll do the countdown.
I'm going to be listening to you guys on the big 65-inch, man, the new one.
Sweet. How's that treating you?
Oh, man.
All right, you got 30 seconds.
I'm going to pick
all right?
All right, what? Brent is just spinning on my screen. Do you guys see him there?
He's spinning.
He'll get in. Don't worry.
Oh, now it went, what? No phone, it said. Now it's black. Something ain't
We can
going
hear you,
right.
Brent. Don't worry.
Brent, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Do me a favor.
Yep.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
can hear you good.
Yeah. We have
All
like
right,
5 seconds.
All right.
Here's your countdown.
I guess
3,
do
2,
without a screen.
1. You are live and on the air right now.
Yeah, you can do it without a screen, no problem.
You're on the air.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show, Wednesday night edition for December 10th, 2025. Man, we are getting close to the end of the year. 2025 just flew by. It feels like we just watched the November elections and Trump just got put in office, and yet here he is almost a year out. Pretty incredible stuff. But tonight, we have with us the great Brent Hamachek. Brent, I always say you're from Human Events, but some big news has unfolded over the last month. So you want to bring us up to speed on all that?
You won't say with Human Events anymore. So
Okay.
we've sold our platforms rolled up and into just the network. We are now part of John Solomon's group. I think there's two kinds of people with regard to how they view John Solomon in the world of journalism. Either they understand that he's the best in the field, or they don't know what they're talking about. He's at the very top of the food chain. He's the best in the business, and nobody's close. And so we are now part of a pretty exciting organization that's going to be continue to be built, grow. Lots of offerings of lots of different type of content. There will be something for everybody. And I don't know. I guess if you're a fan of Karl Marx, you might find yourself challenged. But in any case, great platform, really exciting. We're running with a better class of criminals. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, and I'm very impressed. I remember a long time ago, in your early days on the show, I asked you where you got your news. And John Solomon was the first and I think only name that really came out of your mouth, right?
Yep, it's the only place people really need to go. So the thing about what John does is that every story in the country at a national level that matters, they cover it. And not only do they cover it accurately. Now, you can get the same stories elsewhere, but what you will find is missing when you get those stories is speed, for starters. Verified sources and content is another. And then you'll also, when you're getting some of those same stories elsewhere, you'll get some other stories that aren't true. And, I think I've said on your show before, somebody will come to me with the latest, wildest conspiracy theory about something. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a nap. You tap me on the shoulder when John Solomon reports it, and then I'll pay attention. And if he doesn't report it, it isn't true. So something that seems to be extraordinarily significant, when you hear about it, if you want to know if it's true, hang on tight, see if John reports on it. Because if it sounds significant and he doesn't cover it, it's false. That's simple. So everyone in your audience ought to start paying attention to what's happening with JTN Network. Get your Just the News subscription. Know that more subscriptions and offerings are going to be falling in together over time. And it's a platform you'll want to pay attention to, perhaps at the exclusion of others, except for your show. Also, keep listening to your show.
Yes, of course. As we will get much of our articles from Just the News as well, which it's on my daily rotation for a long time. But now especially it's moved up much higher on the list because of your affiliation with them and how much respect I have for you and what you guys are doing over there. So what is going to happen to Human Events?
Well, one of the things that'll happen is that you will, and it was part of the press release, is that you're going to see an expansion into the world of actually doing events. And so that means in-person events, live streaming events, recorded events, but events. And, various opportunities and structures for people participating in and viewing those still being discussed and finalized. You can imagine that we're in a moment of absorption and other things, right? I mean, that's how it works when any number of businesses combine and come together. There's a period of time where you're sorting some things out. But I can tell you that there's going to be great access available to people for all sorts of in-person and streaming events. I think most people don't really realize that Live Nation is under control of the Soros family. That's probably news to a lot of folks. Just think of Live Nation for concerts and things. But it's a Soros entity, and there's really been no even partial answer to that from the Team Right side. And so this is part of what we're going to do inside this platform is provide that answer.
Now, the Human Events podcasts and whatnot, Jack Posobiec, obviously it's like must watch for so many people. Will that just be rebranded? I'm sure he'll continue doing that. Will it be under the news brand, or will it stay with Human Events?
There's all sorts of stuff that's still in the process of being worked out, exactly what it looks like, how it shakes out, those kinds of things. Best thing for people to do is just stay tuned. And, I'll give you updates every month on your show. But in the meantime, if you get your Just the News subscription, anything we do and announce, you'll be able to find it there, and you'll be able to keep track of the latest and greatest in terms of changes and things.
And I imagine, Post Millennial was under Human Events, so that was absorbed as well. According to the press release you sent me. I imagine that won't change a whole lot over there because they're kind of doing what they do, and they've got such a fantastic team over there with, Andy No and Libby and, just the whole clan they have over there. So I would assume that's probably not going to get fiddled with too much because it's really hitting on all cylinders.
Well, what you'll find is a sort of increased and fresh focus on what the name of the platform is, Post Millennials, right? And so trying to attract a younger demographic into that platform. And I think that's a great idea. The platform has the right name, but in the moment, there's plenty of room to grow. And as we say in Common Ground Campus, there's plenty of room to do better in terms of attracting a younger demographic. So you will see things taking place and changing and happening and being offered in an attempt to attract that market.
Interesting. It's really interesting, man. Congratulations to you, first of all. It sounds like you're really where you want to be, as far as a journalist is concerned.
Well, I'm where I want to be because I'm on your show, so I'm exactly where I want to be on a Wednesday evening. And it's good. Look, answer. It's all good. It's all good. We're running with a really good crowd now. And I think that, to be part of it, It first of all, it's a privilege, right? And you don't take these things for granted. There's a lot of work involved in putting this together. It's been in the works for a very, very long time. And to have it finally come together and the way it did and so on, that's rewarding professionally, just the part about getting it done. And then in this case, we get it done, but then we get to keep going and then be involved with what it is we help put together. So good stuff.
Awesome. Now, what's going on? You just mentioned it a moment ago with Common Ground Campus. What's any news on that front you want to talk about?
We are lined up to have just an extraordinary 2026. We've been the recipient of some really, really nice funding commitments that put us on a level that we just haven't been on before. So all of the real equity and sweat equity that my dear friend Felissa and I have put into this, especially her brainchild, her baby, her hard work, all of that commitment that's been made is really coming together. And, we had a really good 2026 or 2025, excuse me, I'm elderly, in terms of the impact we had on students with our program, the feedback we received, the testimonials. We're stepping into the world now of, and Felissa's doing this with some really good quality professionals assisting, but training and working with young people, she calls them diamonds, finding diamonds and teaching them how to find their voice and express their voice in a constructive rather than a hateful manner on social media and elsewhere. And, and so that is a noble endeavor. We got plenty of people on social media spreading nothing but hatred and garbage. And it is a pretty hateful place. And you can't clean that up overnight. The only way you can clean it up is by reaching young people today to hopefully have them do better tomorrow and for years to come. And maybe instead of hatred being contagious, we can make critical thought contagious.
Yeah, it's such an important skill to learn because it's so easy to have your beliefs questioned and to kind of get angry. It's very easy to do that. And we see families do it to each other. We see friends do it to each other. And that's why so many people, have lost friends and, estranged family and you name it. And with the critical ability to just smile, and you watch people who are good at it, like obviously Charlie Kirk was the king of it, just trusted in God and tried to be the best person he could be and understand that the way he saw things was his way of seeing things, and we could always agree to disagree, which I can't tell you how many times I've heard him say that. It's so important.
Well, it important to be able to agree to disagree. More important to be able to actually talk about and come to an understanding about what those disagreements are. So agreeing to disagree sounds good because it's better than what we experience most of the time. But agreeing to disagree is kind of like, if you're a salesperson, and I've been selling for over 30 years and done it in a lot of industries and teach it, I've run sales teams a whole bit. One of the rules about selling is don't close too soon. Every once in a while, you can close a sale because you've got it. But the truth is, if you had kept going by asking that buyer questions, you actually could have sold them more. So I would suggest to you, to people in your audience, that agreeing to disagree sometimes might be the best sale that you can close. That's okay. But why don't you try to see if you can sell more? And why don't you see if you can't, through asking questions, contemplating the answers, and getting someone to engage, why not see if you can actually agree on a few more things, right? Don't leave the sale on the table. Don't close too soon.
That's funny. I've worked in sales for years too, and the moment you mentioned that, I went, "Oh, yeah." The minute you agree to disagree, you just lost a sale, right?
Right. Yeah. And,
it's gone. You're going to go home. They're going to go home, and you didn't make a sale. Somebody made a sale, but it wasn't you.
Well, and in this case, I'm actually suggesting that agreeing to disagree could be the sale because it might be better than where you were before. But then I'm saying, why not try to sell more? And the next step. So, I'm contemplating writing a column at some point in time where I take a host of phrases that we use all the time, phrases that sound good. In fact, people offer them in a good spirit, but then taking those phrases apart and suggesting that maybe we ought to think about using that phrase. Agreeing to disagree happens to be one of the phrases I have in mind for that very reason.
Interesting. What other phrases do you have? Just like one or two more.
Yeah, well,
if you can, if I don't want you to speak out of class, of course.
Right. Well, one of them would be, "It's not personal; it's just business." That's one of the most damaging phrases that has come into the American lexicon that came from the first Godfather movie, and it's greatly damaged our commitment to ethic between the hours of 8 and 5. So that's one, right? And as to the rest, you'll have to wait. Maybe I'll tease you with one a month, but at some point in time, I'm going to write this column.
Yeah, don't tease us with one a month. Get the article out, and we can cover it next month when you come out on the show.
I should give that some serious thought, my friend.
All right. Anyway, so let's, dive into the world. I guess I'll just start because I know your background in banking. The Fed's cut rates a quarter point today. 3 people dissented. I think it was 9-3. 2 of the people that dissented didn't want a rate cut. The third one wanted 50 basis points cut. So, hey, at least they're moving in the right direction. Trump was screaming about this for, half the year. Please cut rates. Why are you sitting on your hands? Things are going gangbusters. Cut rates, get mortgage rates down, get car loans down, get the cost of capital down, please, so we can grow our economy. Thank you very much. So they finally did it today. Bitcoin was up. All the usual suspects were straight up in the, in the markets today. I don't know. What's your thoughts on all that?
Well, as to the market's reaction, I don't know. Markets have long since, for this entire century, since the days of the dot-com boom, right, which was, of course, an epic failure. The financial markets are no longer tied at all to underlying value of the stocks involved. It is it's legalized gambling. It is extraordinarily large players and traders making bets and covering those bets and figuring out what they're going to bet on. And I got to believe that 9 out of 10 investors can't read a financial statement. Used to be that before you bought a stock, you actually read the financial statement and understood what was going on with the company and if the value was really there. Never in the history of mankind in financial markets have we had so much information available to us to do exactly that, and had people spend so little time really evaluating it. So in terms of a market's reaction to anything, I don't know. It's like watching Las Vegas. Doesn't mean much. What does a quarter of a point in interest rates mean? Well, it means a lot to the federal government because all it does is borrow money. Because contrary to popular belief, Washington's as fiscally irresponsible today as it was a year ago. It's a train wreck. So reduces your debt carry costs. It's nice for the federal government. For somebody in the mortgage market, or with credit cards or other consumer debt, or for a business borrowing money.
Point.
It doesn't. It doesn't do anything. Nothing. Zero. This is smoke. Tinkering with interest rates. Look, it's kind of funny. So when I was a banker, a commercial banker, you'd sit down with a prospective borrower and you wanted to talk to them about banking their business. And, you had all these different cash management things to offer and so on, and all kinds of ways to help their business. And you'd sit down with that business owner, and the first thing he would say is, so what's your interest rate, on your loan? What's your interest rate? My answer, by the way, used to be the same as everybody else's, right? That was my answer. And the reason everybody asks about what's your interest rate is because that was the one thing about banking they could actually understand. The interest rate, right? They know that. You're going to charge me interest. So what are you going to charge me? None of the other stuff they understood. And when people focus on interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve and 1/4 point and all the mishigas around it today, they're doing it because they understand interest rates. Like, oh, rate went down 1/4 point. They understand that. They don't understand the rest of it. It is a overall insignificant move that has nothing to do with the underpinnings of the health of the American economy. Nothing. Zero. So, but I don't feel strongly about it.
Okay. I figured you'd have an opinion on that one way or another, so I thought I'd ask. But and honestly, the reason I asked is about a half hour before the show, I noticed it in my feed, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'll put that in there to ask Brent about. So.
Sure. Well, but when you look at long trends in rates, so the Fed's made 3 cuts in a row, and rates start to come down. And so it's not as though they're like historically high in the first place. Okay. But if they continue to tick downward over time, and all of a sudden you're 200 or 300 basis points lower than a watermark of, say, 24 months ago, well, that starts to make a difference in terms of small businesses borrowing. But here's the thing your audience really ought to know. In terms of stimulating economic growth, and my experience in this has only been for 40 years. So take it for what it's worth. Literally 40, almost 41 now. I have never met, when I was a banker, or worked with as a client, for a client, with over 200 engagements in the last 25 years. I have never worked with any business on any level where 25 basis points had anything to do with their decision to borrow money, to invest in a new piece of equipment, buy a piece of real estate. Never. I have never seen it. Now, doesn't mean it doesn't exist, I suppose, right? I haven't seen everything, right? Never got to see Raquel Welch in a dark room and so on. Lots of stuff I haven't seen. But, and where that came from, I don't know. The point is...
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, there you go. What I do know is that it's not terribly common, or I would have seen it, because I've got an extraordinary expanse of background. And, so the guy sitting with his steel plant today who's looking, he's been thinking about, do I expand? Do I not expand? Well, the rates just came down, 25 basis points. That's not going to flip his decision. It's not. It's not enough money.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, the trend, if you start adding those up over time, then it's down, 200 basis points or, 2 full percentage points for the layman out there. That makes a difference. It's 5% versus 3%. Oh, the numbers work now. You know what I mean? At 5%, they were a little sketchy. At 3%, I feel comfortable. Maybe I'd pull the trigger on it. But 1/4%, that's really not going to make a difference. It just hopefully is showing that we're in somewhat of a trend now where, at least the Fed has woken up a little bit. They're not just sitting there crossing their arms saying, no, we'll never cut rates because the tariffs are going to be too inflationary or whatnot. So I don't know. We've got about 25 seconds left. You want to add anything to that really quick before we take a break?
Yeah, first of all, tariffs can't be inflationary by definition. They don't have anything to do with the money supply. So when you hear reports on the news about tariffs causing inflation, it's nonsense. It's being put out by people who don't understand basic economics, number one. And I'm not sure what number two is. Just that, we'll see what the Fed continues to do over time. But this is a move that where there's a lot of political pressure from Trump to do it. It lowers the government's cost of borrowing money, and it also makes it easier for the Federal Reserve to buy back treasuries and pump more liquidity into the economy because it lowers the price, or it makes it more attractive to do that. So,
folks, on that note, we got to take a break. This is the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. We'll be right back after this.
Great going, guys. Great going. Hey,
All
Brett,
right.
got a question for you.
Sure.
How can Dragus Productions be listed as an affiliate, since you're on our show quite a bit with some of the organizations that you're involved with, so that maybe people that haven't heard that you're on here can come in from those organizations and come check us out.
I think that would be a really fun thing to do. I'd be very happy to run it past our group. I think what could be good to do is maybe for you guys to put together some sort of a email to sort of present and make that case that I'd be able to share and discuss, right? So if you do that, for me, I'll carry the water and see where it goes.
Mark, by affiliate, what do you mean by that? Like, how, Mark or Brent, how would this be represented? Like, I don't know, and Just the News would have sort of a link to us or something, or
we would
events,
say,
you know what I mean?
Dragus Productions, and underneath it would be in affiliation with the group or groups that he's involved with. Just kind of a listing saying that, hey, we're connected.
Yeah, look,
that'd be cool.
I
if you want to write that up, John, for me, I would appreciate that. And we just need permissions, for the logos and things like that. That if once we did get, or if we did get that we could take and, put those on banners, as well as show that in our slideshows and presentations, for the encores as well. That would be really good.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it would be kind of free advertisement for both.
Yeah, I'm happy to carry the water. I mean, you guys know I don't run the place, right?
Right.
So, but certainly happy to share the idea on your behalf. You've been nothing but professional and good to me. So happy to see where something like that might go. Just put it together for me. Because one thing I just don't have the time to do these days is figure out how to put it together myself, right?
Yeah.
So that's just a function of hours in the day.
Yeah.
And you just want like a couple paragraphs and maybe some clips from the show.
Yeah, stuff. Yeah.
I can get you the clips, John, if you can put the letter together. Would you do that for me?
Yeah.
And then once we get permissions and things like that, we can get that emailed to Dragus Productions, and then I'll have like a hard copy of it here, so that if anybody says anything, we're good to go.
Yeah, and then we'll run everything before we put anything out live and all that kind of stuff. So cool. That would be awesome, Brent. Thank you.
You got it.
And you sure you don't run the show? I was told otherwise.
Yeah. Tonight you're running the show. You know that, right?
Yeah.
It's all on you, man.
Right. Reports of my power and influence have been greatly exaggerated.
Oh, come on. Anybody who listens to the boss and, flexes his muscles on stream like you have in the past. Oh yeah, you're the next senior Mr. America. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's
not
hilarious.
to flatter you to get this happening.
That's like
you know.
that's like a young security gal at a lobby in Washington D.C. a couple of months ago paid me a compliment on my appearance, and I thanked her. I said, I'm not used to getting a compliment from a pretty young girl. I'm going to have to Google what to say. And she replied by saying, "Oh, I don't believe that for a minute. I bet in your day you were quite the ladies' man." And I just said, "Oh,
30 seconds, folks.
Oh, she's like, "I didn't mean it that way. I didn't." I said,
In my
"No, no."
day.
And I'll tell you what, this sounds like something that we should bring back on air because we're getting close to the countdown. You know, like, oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Brent's escapades. Anyways, here's your countdown. 5,
Oh no,
4,
you didn't.
3, 2, 1, and you're live and back on the radio side right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. With us tonight, we've got Brent Hamachek from Just the News Network. How's that sound, Brent? Pretty good? You like hearing that?
It sounds pretty good. I like it a lot. Yeah, it sounds great.
I do too, although, you know, human events I've just lived with for so long. It's been, you know, it goes back to, I knew about you guys back in high school, you know. Whereas, you know, Just the News has been pretty big over the last few years, you know. But gosh, I don't know, part of me just, man, that human events brand is just so major. You know, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary, ... That's just such a great name for a news organization.
Yeah, it was started back in 1944. And for anyone not familiar with American history, that was before the Second World War was over. So they started that you know, thinking person's periodical right in the heart of wartime, and continued it in various forms all the way up through about 2013 or 12, something like that. Went dormant for a handful of years and then revived in 2019 or 18. And then here we are today. So it continues to be the publication or platform now that just doesn't go away.
Yeah. I mean, it can't. It's got such a storied history that, you know, you in one way or another, 80 years almost. So it's a beautiful thing. But, you know, John Solomon is a absolute legend. Like you said before, if he's not covering it, it's probably not happening, or it's irrelevant. It doesn't really matter.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Anyway, let's dive into some news out there. We've got Donald Trump today seized a Venezuelan oil tanker. You know, just the military went in, grabbed the thing, now it's ours.
Right.
This is a big escalation. You know, people have been screaming bloody murder on the left about the drug boats that were blown out of the water, which I don't like to do that kind of stuff, but I don't see it as illegal or even immoral. You know, if you're going to run in enough drugs to potentially kill 10,000 U.S. citizens, then, you know, what's taking up 4 or 5 gunboat captains in comparison to, you know, 100 kids in different, you know, communities across the state. But this is the next level. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is the next level. And I mean, the story did just break today. So, and by the way, I heard about it by my Just the News push notification.
Okay.
So
they have push notifications? That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
Yeah. There we go. We'll leave it. Look, it's first of all, it's not about people on the left going crazy about it. When we do that, we don't just oversimplify, we distort the entire conversation about it, because there's Republicans and Democrats concerned about it. I mean, my thought on it is very, very simple. Our hemisphere, our rules. We get to do whatever we want. And if we know that there's a lot of bad actors coming out of Venezuela. We know they're running drugs. We know they run them on these boats. The fact that so my personal opinion is, it's just fine that we're blowing up these boats. It's fine that we're killing the guys on the boats. If we could kill them twice, that would probably be a good idea too. Then what's interesting though, and I mean, it's sort of vintage Trump in so many ways, is like he goes from that to grabbing an oil tanker. You say, so what's the connection? Well, maybe someone from your audience can call in and tell me. I get it. I'm not stupid. What he's trying to do is cripple the regime and bring it to an end. This is about regime change, right? That's clear. Is it a good or bad idea? I don't know. I sort of don't have an opinion on it. I do think that we could go too far in caring about Venezuela. I think it's perfectly okay to be blowing up drug boats and killing people. I'm good with that. Let's do that every day. Mexico's a bigger problem than Venezuela is. And all we seem to want to send to Mexico are tourists. So I don't know. It comes to mind the old line from the movie Stripes when they're getting some of the guys are getting worked up because they're about to invade Czechoslovakia, and Bill Murray says it's like going into Wisconsin, right? So Venezuela is kind of like taking care of Wisconsin here. It's just not. I'm not diminishing how evil they are. I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't be willing to take drastic action with regard to drugs coming into the country to interdict them and eliminate the people running them. I'm good with that. I just wonder, how far does it make sense to go to escalate all of it? Because how much does Venezuela really matter? I mean, if we want to actually invade the country, dispose of their government, occupy it militarily, and seize their oil, I might be able to get on board with that. Not terribly offensive to me. I like the good old days of conquest. But we're not going to do that, to be clear. That's not on the table. So we'll see how it plays out. Just sometimes worry about the erratic nature of the choices that are being made.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I like your take. And I hadn't really thought about it as, I guess, being as irrelevant, like you say, compared to Mexico. As a good takeaway from your thoughts on that. Mexico is, I mean, you've said it before. It's like having Al Qaeda, on our southern border. Who would be a better neighbor to us, Al Qaeda or Mexico in their current form? I think you posed the question of once, and I was like, yeah, probably Al Qaeda would probably be better down there. At least we might be able to keep them in check to some degree. Whereas
yeah,
Mexico
I think the comparison I used was if it was Iran. Okay. But yeah, general point taken. And the idea that we tolerate any form of disobedience, any lack of subservience from Mexico or Canada is just mind-boggling to me. These countries exist because of us, right? And in a very simple geopolitical sense, the way the world used to work, they should show their gratitude by doing whatever we tell them to do. And I'm not terribly concerned about how heartless that might sound. These countries enjoy safety and freedom that they squander, by the way, for their people. But they certainly enjoy safety because of the United States. All right, guys, we'll continue to provide you with safety. Here's what we need you to do today, right? And then they ought to do it.
Yeah. You notice how China hasn't invaded like Central America yet? If we weren't protecting them, they could pretty easily take over Costa Rica. It'd take them about an hour.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, no, there's no question about that. And so this this general lack of sort of gratitude and acknowledgement. It's common amongst individual human beings, so it shouldn't surprise us that it exists between nations.
And now Trump has been having this same conversation about Europe over the last few days as well. We saw Jay Vance do his famous speech a few months ago in Germany, where he said, basically, if you guys aren't protecting free speech and you're not allies in the sense of wanting freedom for your people, at what point do we become adversaries? At what point do we say, hey, why are we funding your military defense for free, for fun, when you guys aren't even protecting your own citizens? In fact, you're importing millions upon millions of people to, in effect, to replace them with populations that might be more open to your totalitarian type of authorities. And so Trump has been pushing that out in the last few days, and it's really interesting. We saw Zelensky basically walk away from the peace process, no interest, because he knows that Germany and France are ready to start, with inscriptions to get military on the ground over there as quick as they can. I don't know. At what point do they stop becoming our allies?
Well, that's, of course, a big, 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 giant question. And it is so complicated, right? One of the easiest things to do, I think, sometimes is, you look at the facts you just enumerated, all of them accurate, none of them in question. And you say, well, then it's pretty simple. We ought to do this or we ought to do that. The interesting thing about nations, and we've seen this throughout all of human history, is that it is extraordinarily difficult to predict consequences. And you can, and sometimes folks are spot on, and that goes down in history as being a brilliant move, and sometimes they aren't, and that goes down in history as being a cataclysmic blunder, right? So when we look at our relationship with Western, now even Eastern Europe, and our military commitments and what we do to help sort of prop them up, and then we look at their behavior, they're not quite the same as what I said about Mexico and Canada. It's not like they need us to exist, but there's no question that they lean on the fact that they're counting on we'll always do it no matter how hard they push us, right? And so that's a problem. I mean, I think with regard to the Zelensky and European piece, I think the United States response there, to me, is actually simple. We need to just step out of any kind of peace process and stop giving weapons to Ukraine and say you're on your own. That we ought to do, in my mind. That's crystal clear. Like, we're done. We're not just done trying to broker a peace. We're done helping you. Now, that would be in my mind, a relatively smart way to roll some dice. Because your thoughts about Germany and France and conscription and troops, and let's see how Europe behaves if the United States just says, we're done with this. Your problem. They might change their approach very, very quickly, because everything they're doing now is predicated on them saying, oh, the United States might not be happy, they might not be this, they might need that, but they're not really going to do anything involving Western Europe security. They're not going to really stop getting weapons and aid to the Ukrainians. So we can mess around with them here. We can do this. Well, what if we change the calculus?
Yeah, a great example is they just fined Twitter or X and Elon Musk personally a $140 million fine. Some of that went to Elon Musk. Most of it was directed at X. But the crime is they're just not censoring hard enough. Vanderwalt was talking about how when false speech gets out there, it's too late. You have to counter it with other, in her mind, facts. But she said it's much better. It's more like a vaccine if you can just make it that sort of fake information immune from ever even getting out into the public realm, which I guess is what Elon Musk is guilty of with the largest platform in almost every country in Europe. More people get their news from X than from anywhere else. So he's got him. I mean, he's really got him well. And they've got to realize that you can't just push like this and not expect him to one day say, hey, you know what if we just turn off our services in Europe and force everyone to buy a VPN to, circumvent whatever you're going to try to do next, right? It'd be a baller move. Just try it out for a week. See how your citizens like it,
Right. No. Well, with this great capability that we have for communication instantly and worldwide, the irony of it, we've probably talked about it before, is that it also, sorry about the barking dog in the background, it also provides the greatest capabilities to control speech that never existed before, right? And that's sort of odd you scratch your head. How is that really possible? Well, because platforms can be shut down, people can be arrested more easily. The owner or CEO of a platform easily found. Individual users easily found, right? That you want to target. And you can just plain pull a plug, right? Perhaps not literally, but you can pull it by blocking. And so people have been limiting speech since the dawn of man. This isn't new. I mean, the ancient Greeks were writing about it, so it must have been a problem 2,500 years ago. And it's been written and talked about and tried ever since. So what does that mean? It means that the people in your audience have to understand that the fight to preserve free speech cannot actually be won. You'll never win, right? So I'm a big NFL fan. February, 7th or 8th, there'll be a Super Bowl. There will be a champion. The season will be over. That's not how this works. This is an endless, permanent battle to try to preserve free speech, take it back when it's taken away. If you have a great success on Monday, get up, get dressed, and show up on Tuesday, because there will be more work to do. Do not think you can win this battle. It's not winnable. And it needs to be relentlessly fought for and preserved. And everyone in your audience ought to figure out a way that they can make their contribution and help to do that.
I started the Censorship Sucks Roundtable radio show.
There you go.
But Barry and I have talked about this as well, as far as like politics are concerned. Because, I mean, they were trying to run the Nazis out of Hollywood, back in like the 50s and 40s? Right? So, I mean, this has been going on forever.
Well, that was just one form. I mean, the tragic that we refer to the McCarthy era when McCarthy and the Senate was far less powerful and far less censoring than his colleagues in the House of Representatives. That's where the House Un-American Activities Committee existed. McCarthy was more of a showman, bombastic, the whole bit, but it was really the House of Representatives that was doing most of the damage. They got a hall pass because McCarthy took all the oxygen out of the room. That was just one American iteration of all this. And but again, it's been going on for all of human history. So it's pretty simple to me. You're never going to be able to stop it, right? So you just have to be vigilant and constantly fighting back against it, right? So it's and it's always going to come in different forms.
Yeah, and that's why it's important to win all these little battles along the way, to have X be able to be in Europe and be able to have people speak their minds, obviously there are certain things that aren't allowed with free speech. You can't call people to murder and yada yada. But having an opinion about the efficiency of vaccines, right? As a doctor, even with Dr. Zelenko would be a great example. Your good friend who was out there fighting like crazy, and he was a doctor, and he was right. Everything he said was right.
Yep, he was, all of it. He was right about all of it, and of course, and we know all the stories about physicians who lost their hospital privileges and the stuff that's gone on in California with medical boards and doctors, and that was, that's very recent, right? And if you said 7 years ago that doctors were going to start to face that kind of censorship on their speech, somebody would have said, "What are you talking about? That's crazy." Only it all happened, right? And fought back against in the moment, not fully successfully, but lots of success. It's still going on. Proves my point. The struggle, you say, "Oh, the struggle is real." How about the struggle is just endless and permanent? That doesn't sound as sexy.
Exactly.
Stuff doesn't work on a coffee mug, but it's permanent. It's not. This isn't going anywhere. We've been fighting for free speech.
To be fair, if you went into a store and saw that coffee mug, you would buy it.
I probably would, because I'd say, "Oh, hey, I said that on the show once. It's pretty cool." Yeah, right.
But yeah, no. The scientific debate. The definition of science is to question everything, right? And so they say trust the science, yet to trust the science, you have to shut down half the science. It makes no sense. And that's why we need to cover these stories and get them out there, get people's heads around the fact that it's just wrong to censor out people's ideas and thoughts and, across the board, because they don't align with what the current political structures and power tend to think or want to push. That's not what it's for. So I don't know, Brent. We got about 2.5 minutes left. Where can people find you online? All that kind of good stuff. What do you have to say for us before we have to part ways, sadly?
Well, the first thing I'll say to everybody is Happy Christmas. I like the way the British say it. The British say Happy Christmas. I watch a lot of British TV. I like that better than Merry Christmas. I like it better than Happy Holidays. I like Happy Christmas. So Happy Christmas, everyone. As somebody who's gone through an interesting faith journey over the course of his lifetime and where I've landed today, I certainly can share this, that whether you have any sort of religious anything or not, there is a way to enjoy this season and try to take stock in the fact and enjoy the fact that in this moment, we're all supposed to at least try a little bit harder, to be a little bit more grateful, to be a little bit more giving, to be a little bit more understanding, to be just a little bit happier. And you don't need to be Catholic or Protestant or Muslim or Jewish or Buddhist or a diehard atheist to embrace those kinds of simple human truths and opportunities, right? So embrace the opportunity of the season to acknowledge the truths that those kinds of things are sort of a better way to live, even if it's only for 30 days or so. But try to enjoy it. And, again, absent any sort of faith requirement, taking a moment this month to figure something that you might be able to do to touch the life of someone else, either close to you or not close to you. Bring a little bit of happiness to them. Unexpected happiness is the best kind. It's one thing to get a gift every year from your brother who always gives you, a brand new can of motor oil. You expect that. It is different to give the gift to someone who never would have dreamt it was coming, and enjoy both the appreciation and the surprise. So those are my closing thoughts.
Awesome. Excellent. And to all the Hindus out there, we apologize. We're with you in spirit. Brent just forgot to mention you. That's all. I have a lot of Indian listeners, so I got to be careful with them. They're touchy.
I should have said et al., right? So
et al.
Everybody's included in what I was trying to share.
Yeah. Now the Mormons are lighting up my chat. Okay. Folks, we are all out of time. Brent Hamachek from Just the News Network. What a pleasure to have you back on. We will see you next year. And when you come back in January, maybe we'll do like a top 10 stories of the year kind of thing.
That sounds.
So I'll give you some time to mull that over.
I think that's fun. I'll get them all from Just the News. So awesome. Sounds good
Folks,
to me.
we got to go to break. Thanks so much for coming on, Brent. We will see you guys right after this.
All right, we're on radio break. Thank you so much. It's been a great year with you, Brent. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. I enjoy this. I look forward to it. You're smart. You're polite. You always treat me really well. And hopefully you and your audience enjoy some of the thoughts. They're a little irreverent. I know they're different. So hopefully people find them worth contemplating, at least. And
oh yeah, we get really good feedback.
Are you open at all next week, Brent? Because I could bring you into Nancy's show. That's the last show I have on Wednesday night, and
Nancy's great.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Just do like a one-on-one with her, so you're not like crowded in a room with 6 people.
I'll tell her if I get you in there, it'll be a one-on-one instead of a full group for that.
What time would Nancy's show be?
It's her show starts 9 Central till 10. No, 11. Even if you came in for even one segment of it, she does like 4 segments.
I'd be willing to do an hour with her, or less if she wants.
Yep.
So she won't hurt my feelings if she says 3 minutes, but tell her I'm willing to do 9 to 10. Tell her I'm willing to do 9 to 10 Central.
9 to 10 Central? Okay. I will tell her that. So
cool.
That's
you'll like that,
10 to 11.
Really good.
10 to 11 her time.
Sounds sensible. Gives me a reason to live another week. I was looking for one.
Yeah, and I will talk to her tonight when I get on the radio side with her about that, and that'll be really good.
That sounds great. Well, you guys, in the meantime, have a happy Christmas, right?
Yep.
And
happy Christmas.
Watch lots of British TV. Take good care, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Take care, guys. Bye.
You too, Brent. We got Roger and Zanku Gaming in Kick Chat. Appreciate you guys. And DK Spiracy is restreaming us as well.
Sweet.
Appreciate you, DK, all the way down in New Zealand. I'm going to take
So, Chat, what do you think of all that with Brent now being part of Just the News? Are you guys familiar with justthenews.com?
Oh, yeah.
Justthenews.com.
Let's switch to the next room.
Okay.
Which will be this one again.
I don't know if you can hear us, but we're switching.
Barry. Okay. All right. We're going to switch rooms, and then we'll come back, and we'll talk about that when we get back. Just the News. Oh, yeah. I can't believe it. It would be really nice if I could take and get an affiliation with them or work a deal like that. That would really help us out a lot. Let's see what we got for John and the rest of the crew when we come back for hour 2. Hello, hello, hello. Anybody there?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yeah. John probably had to go on mute there. Blue's probably acting up or something. Maybe he's grabbing a sandwich or going to the bathroom or something. Is our boy David Hogg from Mines would say, he's probably peeing on a flat rock. Anyways. Ninja Edge in the kick chat.
All right, Barry, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Just listening to the show and doing some work, man. That's about it.
Cool. Cool. I'm sure you have some thoughts, agreements, disagreements with all that.
I mean, he seemed pretty mild-mannered tonight. I don't know.
Come on, CS. He missed you riling Brent up and getting him wound as tight as a banjo string. Come on now. But it's the end of the year. I understand. I get it.
It's the Christmas season. You know, nobody's really trying to be too controversial.
Yep.
Hey, I'm in the house now, so
look out.
Who knows? I may be controversial. I don't know. We'll see. I don't plan on it. It just kind of happens.
Mm-hmm. I got to do more of that. I got to rile Barry up in the next hour.
Oh, yeah.
I liked our conversation last week about the...
They're going to add sulfur to the
teachers
to the chemtrails now.
About the what?
Did you hear?
What's that?
No, Barry was mid-sentence. What did you say, Barry? You liked the conversation last week about what?
Oh, we were talking about the teachers in the tent. Well, they weren't in the tent, I hope. It was, well, maybe they did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was just crazy.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
But okay,
yeah.
now we can go to Mark. Mark, what'd you say? They're going to put sulfur in the chemtrails now?
Yeah, they're going to add sulfur to
true?
the chemtrails now, Barry. Didn't you know?
What does that do?
It's going to bring the Antichrist down, and Lord Shiva. So, Project Hades will probably call it, or something like that.
I don't know, man. I do know these people are into the dark occult for sure. I just was watching that Zach Brown video, that his live performance in the Sphere. That was satanic, dude, straight up. He tried to say it wasn't satanic, there was no ritual going on, blah, blah, blah. But he was literally wearing a crowned flame, a flame thorn crown with a Baphomet goat head right in the middle, with all this demonic imagery in this 360 sphere, right? Literally a door to hell. And souls, like dead souls, literally in hell, all on top of each other, just writhing in agony and pain. And this giant thing of this giant death thing that came out, it was demonic, dude. I don't know what these people are into, but it ain't good. Yeah,
Ain't good.
They've sold out to that stuff, man. I mean, maybe he's not into it, but maybe the people behind him are into it. But he did put on the crown, which is a straight up mockery of Christ. So because of the crown of being King of Kings, and then the thorn of crowns on his head when he was crucified.
Okay. So, here, I'm going to get you riled up. Is it SUN or SON? I've been watching lots of Jordan Maxwell here lately. All right. Is it sunrise service because we're watching the sun come up, or is it because we're waiting for the Son of God to come?
I've never...
Jordan Maxwell, man, you need to look him up. Astrotheology.
I will agree with what Joe Rogan said just a few months back, where he said maybe might be a really good time for Jesus to come back. I'm in agreement with that.
Is there anything outside of what I have that you want to cover?
Well, I'm sure
I'm saying you did a good job with the tents last week.
You stumped him.
You hit me out of left field with that one, and it turned out to be true.
Oh, man, you stumped him.
No. Well, I figured you would probably talk about some of these people that are getting arrests for violent threats and stuff. That's, you've got a couple of New Jersey, those two twin girls that kind of look like Blake Lively, the Hollywood actress that got arrested. And so I don't know if you want to cover that, but I think, we've been talking about the rhetoric of the left and how they lean towards violence. I mean, how much evidence do we have to continue to present to say that this is, a big problem in their party. And it's not being condemned by their party. It's not being condemned by the mainstream media.
Yeah, let me think here. I just saw a really good article earlier today that I didn't put it in my feed because it was so filled with profanity. But it was...
anyways, 30 seconds, fellas. And countdown will be coming real quick.
Let's see here.
Did you see Erica Kirk took and did a...
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Here's your countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you are live and on the radio side right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Hour 2 of the Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show, Wednesday night edition for December 10th, 2025. Folks, we've only got one more Sunday show and one more Wednesday show in 2025. Then we go on break. And that's it for the year. We'll be back next year, obviously, ready to fire on all cylinders after a little bit of time off with some refresh energy in there. Barry, how's your year going, man? 2025 work out for you?
Yeah, it's almost over. So I'm ready for 2026. It's kind of going so fast that, I'm always afraid when I sign a check. This is real, dude. I feel like I'm going to put the wrong year on just because it's kind of been a blur. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Every time I go into the new year, you're filling out forms and stuff at work, and it's like, oh, what did I put down?
Yeah.
It just goes by so quick, man. Life comes at you, that's for sure. And as Brent reminded us, it never stops. It'll always come at you forever.
Absolutely. This life
has been
struggles for sure, and not just as a nation, but individually. I mean, it's a trial, man.
Yeah, it sure is. But anyway, let's dive into some news. And here's just a weird one, dude. A weird one. I'm telling you, I don't know if you've seen this yet, but McDonald's put out an ad for Christmas.
Yeah.
This was out of the Netherlands, and it is just vile. It's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Okay, so it's all made by AI. And the whole concept of this ad is that Christmas kind of sucks, and you're always, there's the guy's walking across the street and gets hit by a bus, and the bus knocks out all his presents from his hands, and he's got nothing. They're all destroyed, and, somebody burns the dinner. Just all these mishaps happening that make the holidays so brutal and why Christmas is so horrible. And I got to play some of this for you guys. I really do.
It's the most terrible time of the year. All the shops turn to mayhem, and Santa no space, and the tree redecorations go ways. It's the most terrible time of the year.
Right? Burning cookies, the dinner table's on fire.
Right.
Somebody's getting hit by a puddle, another guy blows up his blender. Most terrible time of the year.
Exactly. And they want to focus on the negative, man. That's who they are.
Wait, I don't know. Okay, so, sorry, let me just replay that last little bit there. So you flee from the madness and lights and the cheer. And hide out in McDonald's till January's here. So okay, so go ahead.
Passing over Christmas as if it doesn't matter. Just hide out here, and you won't have to deal with Christmas at all.
At McDonald's.
Yeah, of all places.
I mean, but it's just, I don't know how well you all at home could hear the lyrics, but it's basically the most horrible time of the year. And all the intermediary stuff was about, Christmas packages being destroyed. And, they're driving down the road. They got all these gifts on the roof, and they drive under a bridge, and they all get knocked out. And, they don't even notice, obviously, till they get there and they show up. And, and they had AI make this whole thing. So all of the visuals in it are very AI. They're very weird. They're very creepy. And I don't know how this sells a hamburger. You know, do you see any way that this is going to help them actually sell a hamburger to somebody, even if they're hungry?
If you hate America and you hate Christmas, then maybe. But that's a minority, not a majority, so they're really going to be isolating a lot of people. But that's what the left does. They isolate the majority to hyper-focus in on the minority.
Mm-hmm.
Time and time again.
Yeah, but it's... Yeah, it's... I don't know, man.
Well, I can tell you what
I find it really weird.
I see irony in it because if you think about it, there are some negative things about the Christmas season. Not Christmas itself, but the season, like
brutal,
like the corporatization of Christmas, right? And them actually using Christmas as a way to make sales when they themselves hate Christmas, right? And have tried to ban the word Christmas and replace it with holiday, right? So that's like a negative thing. So for them to even speak about that, anything negative about Christmas, when they're the ones that are bringing about a lot of negativity about Christmas because they're always pushing product. It's not about the Christmas spirit for these corporations and these businesses. It's all about the almighty dollar, which is the very opposite of Christmas because Christmas is about giving. It is about, the birth of Christ. It is about beauty and wonder and charity.
Mm-hmm. But in order to give, you got to buy it first. You can't give it away unless you own it. So
they could do that tastefully, though, right? They could do that tastefully, and they should do a way that's not disingenuous. Like when I see a commercial, start milking Christmas when I know for a fact they hate Christmas. At least with Starbucks, they don't pretend to like Christmas at all. They don't even mention Christmas. And when you go into the store, there's nothing Christmas in that store. Maybe a little bit of green stuff, but no Christmas tree and no word Christmas. Yeah. Now, they do have a Christmas blend, but it's up on the shelf somewhere. So you got to be really looking for that word to even see it in the store. They're ashamed of Christmas, but at least they show you their true colors. I would rather them do that than pretend like, oh, we've always loved Christmas. Can we now have your color? Can we now have your money?
Yeah. And is McDonald's of the Netherlands going to put out an ad like this during, say, Ramadan, right?
Well, no, they would love
saying, it's the most horrible time of the year,
Yeah, well, they would say...
You can't eat all day, so,
No bacon, just for you guys.
Yeah, free bacon cheeseburgers for everybody right at sundown every day.
Well, that would be an insult, but I'm just saying, they probably come out and say, we're going to do away with bacon. Just for Ramadan, because, you remember that video in New York City where they went into the McDonald's, a bunch of Muslims did, a bunch of radical Muslims, and they were shouting that McDonald's was haram. McDonald's is haram, haram, which basically means that they were violating Sharia. But so what? We don't abide by Sharia. We abide by the constitutional rule of law, not Sharia law. And what are they doing in McDonald's?
Exactly.
What are they doing at McDonald's disturbing people's, peaceful frame of mind while they're trying to eat a GMO burger? That's what I want to know.
Those good old GMO hamburgers there. I'm sure there's meat in, I'm sure there's some actual cow in a McDonald's hamburger. There's got to be like some percentage of actual meat.
Yeah. I saw a video on X where they were using ground up bones to make some of the meat. I don't know if that's true or not. It could be an AI. It could be an AI video. These days, but.
That's beef, man. If it comes out of a cow, it's beef, right? It's like what it defines seafood for me. I remember when Subway had a seafood sandwich. I got one. I'm like, man, this is pretty good. I'm like, what is seafood anyway? Like it's anything below the water.
Right.
Anything down there with a pulse, man, we can put it in there and call it seafood. Like so, beef. What do you call beef? I'm sure there's guidances from the Food and Drug Administration, but. We always see Taco Bell running that line, putting sawdust in there and whatever else they can to make it like, 51% beef and the rest of it is just filler.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I mean, the quality of a McDonald's hamburger has gone down to the garbage levels. I mean, it's just, it's shocking how bad they've become. And their prices have just skyrocketed. It's really insane.
So basically, when you buy your seafood at the grocery store, you want to look for that label that says mechanically separated seafood.
Yeah, mechanically. That's key because the machines do it way more efficiently.
Well, yeah, and plus, that way, you're getting a blend. It could be a little bit of a snail, a little bit of an octopus, a little bit of a fish, a little bit of some algae. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they just sort of test the pH level of it every, 20 minutes or 30 minutes to make sure it's not too, acidic or whatever, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's got a weird tinge of brown in it now,
Ugh.
Something very brown just came through here.
Straight from the poop chute, right?
Yeah, right. Went by a blue whale went by an hour earlier. I don't know. But yeah, that's an interesting take on it all.
Well, at least we're not roadkill. From what I've heard and what I've seen in some documentaries, that some of the dog food is actually roadkill. I don't know if that's true or not. That was the case they presented in the documentary that I saw, and it seemed to make sense because, I don't know, man. These people, they don't have any scruples. Come on, we know that.
Yeah. And, you'd think roadkill would be hard to actually go find and scrape up how often you actually see that kind of stuff. But I guess they take it somewhere, right? So you can just go to the dump or whatever and get it. I don't know. Let's not even talk about that because it's kind of gross. And the more I get into the details of it, the more I realize it's probably not somebody wants to hear too much of, especially if they're having dinner. So let's dive into the FIFA games. The World Cup is coming to America. And it's going to be, I say the Americas. Canada, USA, and Mexico are going to be hosting the different games in all 16 different cities, and it'll be a truly international event. And Seattle's going to get a couple games, right? Seattle's going to be hosting some games. And since this is June when they're playing, it's Gay Pride Month. So they decided to make one of these games. They picked it before they even knew who was going to end up playing in it. And they said, this game is going to be centered around LGBTQ. And it's going to be inclusive, and we're going to have all the colors, and it's going to be super, super, super gay. The soccer game. We don't know who's going to end up playing it. Well, we found out today who's going to end up playing in this. And the winners are Egypt and Iran. Okay?
Wow.
It's totally illegal. And in Iran, it's you can be stoned to death. They can throw you off a roof. It's perfectly legal. Egypt, it's illegal, but not quite. They kill you immediately. Illegal.
Right.
But still, it's an interesting dichotomy to see this event happening in Seattle with these two teams, Iran and Egypt, playing.
Do you think there's going to be some protests from these particular teams? What's your call?
Oh, well, they're already freaking out. There's going to have a meeting of FIFA in the Middle East somewhere next week, and they're going to all show up and be like, why are you putting us in this? Let's pick two countries that are, there's another game happening in, I want to say Vancouver, which is like an hour up the road, right? And it would be easy for them to just say, hey, let's swap these teams out, and you guys go play this game, you guys other play this game, and, right, let's put, I don't know, the UK and France are playing. Let's put them in Seattle during the Gay Pride event, not Iran and Egypt. And I can't even think Seattle would want this to happen. Two countries where it's completely illegal, where they're running around saying, Donald Trump is a tyrant and he wants to kill everybody. But you got two countries out there where they literally do kill people for being gay, playing in their town in the Gay Pride game, right?
I don't know why they're doing it anyway. It's you're going to isolate all these other groups, right? And it's always the LGBTQ plus. Why isn't it another group? How about we honor all the Christians that have been slaughtered in all the different places around the world as of recently? How about that? How about we celebrate, people for being straight? If you're going to celebrate people for being not straight, then why not? Why are you isolating everybody else to just, hone in on this one group? Like this one group must be constantly honored above all, and no one else can be honored. It's weird, man.
Mm-hmm. It also somewhat coincides, I think, with June 19th, which is, obviously a big day in the black community. So, okay. And it's funny watching the black community, like, why are you guys always, putting us in with the LGBTQ? Like, we're black people. We're not that group. That's that group. They're them. We're us,
Okay, but the whole thing about international games is the very idea of being inclusive anyway. To hone in on one particular group is very strange and very bizarre when you're already supposedly supposed to be accepting all groups and all people and all nations and all countries. And the reason they're doing this is because there's an agenda to come against people that just don't believe that the LGBTQ community is a community that they can identify with. They want to force it on everybody.
And there's the hierarchy of disadvantaged that is so hard pushed with the critical theory, and critical race theory, where you give everybody a grade. We've all seen the Peter Griffin meme where he's got the paint splotches that are like different colors from white to black, and then like see where your skin lands on this and see if you're oppressed or not. Wow. I
hadn't heard of that.
And it goes in different categories, right? Like the blacks are very high up on the scale. Or should I say black people? I never really call them the blacks, but the black people are high up on the scale, but the LGBTQI are a little higher. If you're black and LGBTQ, then you get 2 points. If you're Muslim in that group, you get another point. If anything but the white cis guy, the white straight guy, anything but that gets the points.
Well, I would suggest, if you're going to do something about an oppressed group, I would go ahead and make an all-white day, because, the New York Post or Times or one of those just posted an article, and the headline was, this was out of London, "White families just don't represent real Londoners, say Constaff guidelines," which is just more racist rhetoric, from the corrupt establishment. So really, white people are being oppressed probably more than anybody right now. So let's if you're going to go for the minorities, we're a minority now. We're like 6% of the world's population. Let's go ahead and have a day for white people. If you're going to focus in on one or two groups, you might as well start focusing on all the minority groups. And now white people are a minority.
Yeah, in London too. When you talk about Sadiq Khan's office, white British people are a minority in London, the world headquarters for white British people, right? And they can't even hold on to their own town. And I've said it before, but they will never, ever not have a Muslim mayor in London.
Well, here's the thing that happened. It says that
a Christian will never get elected in London as a mayor.
Oh, well, I don't think so. You're right, probably. But there was enough pushback that he changed his mind. It said the mayor forced to withdraw advice which photos will best promote his brand after critics rightfully labeled it racist and divisive, which is what it was. It's racist and divisive, but that's their whole shtick. Even the Olympics and the globalists and all the Democrats and leftists, it's not about taking care of any particular group that's being oppressed. It's about divide and conquer and racism and trying to get us infighting. We all know that, though, but we got to call it out time and time again because they just keep going with it, and some people are dumb enough to believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So it's a ongoing struggle. Like Brent said before, it never ends. It never will end. And, the minute you want to take a day off, guess what? Your opponent's not.
That's exactly right.
Anyway, I find this story about Seattle just like the end of irony. Literally, they just went into this with all the best intentions and really thought it'd be a great thing, and everyone was super excited, and they were patting each other on the back, and then bam, the draw comes out, and you get Egypt and Iran. And they must have all called each other up like, oh my God, what are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about this? We've just invited in, we're going to have to celebrate this in front of people that just see it. And then a lot of them probably just say, hey, this is great. Let's show them the love. Let's show them how much, we love gay people. And, of course, they're going to be down on the field, and no mind is going to be changed on that field in any way, shape, or form. But nobody's going to be like, wow, those fans were really gay, and I liked them. They were cool.
But what blows my mind is not any of those people that are trying to promote this LGBTQ plus agenda are going to condemn those two nations for their homophobia. And if there is anybody that's homophobic, it's them. It's not Christians. It's not conservatives. It's not the right. Those people are kind of homophobic, man. And not only that, they're really sexist, man. I watched one of their imams just the other day talking about that if a woman is not covered in a burqa and she gets raped, she's to blame as well. That's insane, dude. And these are people that are Muslims in America, right?
Yeah.
And they're trying to bring this ideology here. No, it's not okay to rape a woman because she's not wearing a burqa. And because they're, quoting, Quran scripture, and they go, well, then, the Quran says that she should be covered from head to toe and only, part of her face being visible. And if so, she wasn't doing that, and she was inviting the rape. And I'm like, what? And people are not condemning that, and yet the left really, they act like they're all for women, but yet they don't condemn that because they're aligned with Islam. Think about that for a minute.
And in Sharia, a woman's testimony in court is considered half that of a man's. Okay, so if one guy says I didn't do it and two women say you did, it's a hung jury. If three women come forward and say he did it, then okay, now there's a preponderance of evidence, so to speak. But how can you invite that into the United States? We fought so hard against that. We've come so far in our 250-year history now. It's just a sad thing to see.
Yeah, the left wants to take us backwards. They want to resurrect the past. And to make it worse, that Muslim leader said, which is just crazy, that God was giving her a trial. This was her, to learn a lesson, basically. You need to cover yourself up completely from head to toe, or else this is what can happen. But this is a trial.
Anyway, we've got to take a break, folks. This is Censorship Sucks Roundtable Radio Show. We'll be right back after this.
All right, we are on radio break.
I'd say you worked us both up, man. Right off the bat, dude.
Oh my God, Nancy is so excited about having Brent on them next week.
Cool.
That's good. Yeah, and I told her one-on-one. All right.
Yeah.
One-on-one.
Yeah, that's key. I watched him do one where he was on one of your shows before, and he talked for like 3-4 minutes during the whole show.
Yeah.
What?
It's kind of like.
Oh,
well,
wow.
there was too many in the group, and.
Yeah, exactly.
At the time,
and a lot of people, they like to do their monologues. They get into monologues where they just roll.
Yeah, at times there are times like that. Yeah. Nancy's getting that more under control here lately, and that's good.
Yeah.
Yep. And
when I had her on, I was kind of doing that a little bit with her because she's used to like kind of going on longer, and we sort of tend to cover more articles and try to get more stuff in,
Yeah, she normally does like one or two, three items, maybe tops at a time for the whole show, and kind of like when she does it's more deep dive. I like both, short, quick. Hey, get people thinking.
Yeah.
And next. That's good.
Just a different format kind of thing.
A little different format, yeah. Similar concept. Without the paranormal involved.
Egypt and Iran.
Yeah. I told her not to bring up Charlie unless he does, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, she can bring him up all he wants.
Yeah.
I was really close to tonight, but I figured I just really didn't get to it.
Yeah.
No, he's cool talking about it. He is.
Yeah, but, I don't want him to think that I only produce shows that's going to be connected because of him. Because of Charlie,
Yeah.
We do variety.
Well, he knows that's not the case. Yeah. I don't even know how much I talked about it with him last month. Quite honestly, I think he mentioned it a couple times, but
he brought it up, and then
I don't think I don't think I asked him anything specific about it. Whereas tonight I could have.
It's common ground, right?
To talk about
common ground. That's what it's called.
Common ground campus. Yeah.
Common ground campus.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you see where Rosie O'Donnell's brother said that he's glad that she left the United States? Best decision she's ever made. That's pretty bad, dude. Her own brother.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, you guys got 30 seconds, more or less. You know how that works.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had somebody walk right like 5 feet away from me when I was going on that thing about Seattle. She snuck right up on me. I was like, what the hell are you doing? Nobody ever walks up on somebody like that.
And here's your countdown. 3, 2, 1, and you're live right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hour 2 of the Censorship Sucks Round Table Radio Show, Wednesday night edition for December 10th, 2025. And as always, we've got Bullhorn Barry on the mic with us. What's up, Barry?
Merry Christmas, man. Happy New Year. At least we can say that, right? I mean, I'm going to. I don't care what anybody thinks, even though they're not even mentioning that at any different tree lighting places. Have you noticed that? Portland, and then there was some David Spade.
Oh, yeah.
And Carvey were talking about how they wouldn't even mention the word Christmas at this mall tree lighting ceremony.
Mm-hmm. Which is odd, because it is a Christmas tree. Why else are you putting it up?
Yeah.
You know, what do the presents under there represent? What's all this? But yeah, no, they and now Brent wants you to say Happy Christmas and Happy New Year.
Oh, okay. Well, that works. That's fine.
I like the diversity, though, of the Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to some degree. I don't know. If you see them together, I go with Merry Christmas, but maybe Happy Christmas could work. I don't know. Well, I'll try it out and see how
maybe
it goes.
Maybe just say Merry Christmas and Merry New Year. That's another option as well.
There you go. A Merry New Year.
Sure. It's kind of the same.
All right, so let's see here. The walls are closing in, folks. Ilhan Omar is getting outed. There's some people in her life who said, yeah, they knew she married her brother. She told them years ago when it happened. On and on and on. All kinds of confessionals, so to speak. The gig is up. She married her brother to get him citizenship to the United States so he could leave London because he was being a little weird over there. Okay, apparently he was wearing some makeup and doing some weird stuff and just being kind of not very, let's say, Muslim family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it shows up with lipstick and, that kind of stuff. So, boom, get him over to America, get him married to a woman so he can find out what that's all about for a little while, I guess. But also get him some scholarship money, help him get some money for school so he can continue on. And the walls are closing in, man. We got Homan looking into it personally, and it really seems to look like, by all, the rumors, everything always turn out to be true, right? A conspiracy theory is a conspiracy theory until you give it enough time to percolate, and then it becomes known fact. Folks, she's going down. She's in big trouble. She committed immigration fraud, and so her citizenship, her seat, everything is very much in jeopardy at this point. Now, are we going to get anyone better in her place? I highly doubt it.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, what do you say, Barry?
Well, I mean, it's probably past due that she got caught, if that's the case. It seems like the left seems to get away with things for a very long time before they finally, pay for their crimes. Yeah. It is that they've done, and they've done a lot of different things. Obviously, I think that was one of the things I saw Glenn Beck ranting about. I don't know when the rant came out. It may have been a little while ago, but he was basically talking about, hey man, we keep exposing this stuff over and over and over again, and then nothing is done. There's no arrests. If it was reversed, right, and the left had real concrete evidence against the right, there would be indictments, arrests, convictions, like so quickly.
They would mock him to oblivion. Every late night show would be like, you married your brother or your sister. It'd just be a joke. Yeah, it'd be never end. It's such an easy joke for a late night host to make, and yet they don't. They avoid it like the plague because it's team left, team right. And they know which team, butters their bread, so to speak. If you're working in Hollywood, you know exactly who you can and can't critique. And, it's coming out, man. I'll tell you, it's interesting to see where this goes. And then we got Jasmine Crockett down in another member of the squad down in Texas running for a Senate seat. And, man, she's just putting her foot in her mouth over and over and over again. Yeah. It's ridiculous to see. She is going to be the gift that just keeps on giving as she runs for Senate. You know,
a bunch of compilation videos out there as well of all of her different gaffes and insane comments that she's made. People are like, compiling them all together and then posting them. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm planning on it.
oh yeah. I mean, there was just one the other day where Jake Tapper brought up an interview she had with Vanity Fair a couple of years back, where she said that basically Mexicans who vote for Trump are like Nazis. They're the same as Trump. They're horrible people, and yada yada yada. And now she's running in Texas, mind you. That's not a really good take to be out there with, because the Hispanic community.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, the Hispanic community can point to those clips and play it to their friends and say, "Hey, this is what she says about su madre and papa."
Well, if you break it down, she's saying basically that Mexicans are Nazis. Because if you call half of the Mexican population Nazis, you're calling basically all Mexicans Nazi, okay? It's not like, just half of you guys are Nazis. No, all of you guys are Nazis. That's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly. And
calling one Mexican a Nazi, even if you're not calling the other Mexican a Nazi, that one Mexican's going, hey, why are you calling my Mexican brother a Nazi? He's no Nazi. How dare you?
Exactly. And the Hispanic community lives along us in society, folks. They see the same stories. They see the same news. They're listening to the show, right? They get it. And they understand that the Democratic Party as it stands today is no friend of their basically Christian values. Mexicans, Hispanics in general are very religious people. And you start, trying to transgender their kid behind their back at school or force vaccines on them that are made with things that, are definitely contrary to, most religions, and on and on and on. All these things start adding up and piling up, and they keep hearing about it. And, a lot of them want Trump to do exactly what he's doing to illegal migrants because they make them look bad. When they go out and beat and rape and kill people, it makes the entire community look bad, and they don't want them here any more than,
because that's not a reflection of the Mexican community here in America. But that's what happens when you have fettered, unchecked, illegal immigration where just anybody can come through. There's no checks and balances, and then you get a lot of bad apples too. And there's bad apples in every nation, every single nation.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. And there's good apples in every nation. And, when you are screening someone that wants to come to our country and be a good apple, you ask them questions. And if they're just out of their minds, supporting Hamas and other terrorist groups and yada, they hate America, they want to see it be communist, and you don't let them in. Take a hike, go to go to Russia. You want communism, go to Russia. Have at it.
Yep.
They'll love you over there.
Well, Trump said it perfectly just this week. He said, if you don't embrace our values, we don't want you, because America is based on our values. Our values of our Constitution, the rule of law. So you can't be inviting Muslims that want to come over here and bring in Sharia law. That's not how it works here in America. Now, if you want to be a Muslim and participate in this wonderful thing that we call America and freedom, come on, we don't mind. But if you think you're going to come over here and take over, that's a different story. We can't have that. We don't want you because you're not going to add anything to the equation. If anything, you're going to jeopardize everything that America stands for.
Exactly. And I mean, we're a democracy to a degree, right? A representative, republic.
Right. Sure.
But we do have elections and we do, put people in power. And the minute you get to that 51% threshold, where more than half the population wants Sharia law, then you're going to get it. And the Constitution will be blown to smithereens within 5-10 years as that gets put into place. And it will be too late to stop, short of just straight up, civil war.
I'm pretty sure that the reason that the Democrats don't ever say our constitutional republic and they constantly use the phrase just democracy is because they don't value the Constitution. They don't mind if Muslims come in and wreck, constitutional rule of law and bring in Sharia. They don't care. They want it to happen because they want to burn it all down so they can rebuild it in this dystopian sort of globalist, communist, fascist, authoritarian new world order.
Yeah, sounds fun, doesn't it?
Not really. Not at all. Actually, I'm not for doom and gloom, man. And the left is just, their green scam, the central bank digital currencies, the tracking, tracing, surveillance. I mean, everything that they do, the digital IDs. I mean, it's all anti-American, 100%. It's anti-American and it's anti-God. Just think about it. Everything that they do is against the natural order and against everything that America stands for. Just look at their policies and you'll see that what I'm saying is 100% true. I could give example after example.
Absolutely. And so let's see. Governor DeSantis in Florida recently declared CARE. Abbott in Texas did this as well. The Center for American Islamic Relations, CARE, a terrorist organization. And they, of course, are fuming. And they're saying that they're going to be suing Florida over this, and Texas as well. And both the governors have had the same response. I can't wait for discovery. Let's go. Bring it on. We'll find out exactly how much money you're sending to actual terrorist organizations. And it begins.
That's exactly right. And it's no surprise, man. I mean, this is the kind of stuff they pull. So, and like the perfect example of that is the fact that Egypt and other countries in the Middle East have basically labeled the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization, okay? Islamic nations have labeled the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization, but here in America, they're not. Now think about that for a minute, how bizarre that is.
Yeah. I think it's coming very soon. I almost want to think that Trump has said something on that. And so, yeah, expect action on that. It's not necessarily from CARE on a federal level, but from the Muslim Brotherhood. Yeah, because they are clearly the bad guys here. I mean, they're not even allowed in Egypt. They're founded in Egypt. They're blackballed from that permanently, They have to hide out in Qatar.
Well, remember when they had the revolution in Egypt, the media was posing them as like good guys. And then there was a counter-revolution that overthrew the Muslim Brotherhood after they overthrew and did a coup. But you never heard anything in the mainstream media about the counter-coup that happened that overthrew the Muslim Brotherhood because they were so far radicalized. So, if a Muslim nation considers the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organization, and they did, it wasn't a peaceful deal either, right? There was violence with groups. So, and then yet here in America, and Obama was had no problem with them coming through the airports not being screened. I mean, it was just insane under Democrat leadership.
Yeah.
Biden let
and you got to remember, with the Muslim world, that you got the Sunnis and the Shiites, and all the conflict comes from the two different sects of Islam, right? And how they see the other one as, a lesser and an evil to fight and whatnot. And that's why there's always been conflicts within, different countries and whatnot in the Arab world. So a lot of the reasons why they might have been kicked out of Egypt or whatever was due to the particulars of which sect they were involved in and supporting. And that's going to come to America as well. We're already seeing it happen in London to a degree, in England, where there's on the ground groups of, this melting pot. We walk in and they all, it all looks like they're, I know they're Middle East. That's about it. Right. But they walk around and they see it very differently. And there are infighting between those groups big time. And we're just going to see more and more of that as time goes on. So it's interesting to kind of see it from that perspective,
It seems like to me that the globalists and the left want more radical, Muslims in power and in control in the Middle East because it creates a lot of destabilization, and of course, then they can work out of the chaos and have, more wars, more money, and they can manipulate nations, and they can do all kinds of, shady deals. So it's not just America has done that in the past, but, NATO and the globalists, they all conspired together. They put in, overthrow one dictator, but then put in a dictator that's worse. And then Trump comes in and says, we're not doing that anymore. And that's kind of like got them off the track, man. Look at Sharia. Look at Syria under Biden. It's now pretty much under control by Al-Qaeda.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to bring that up a few minutes ago. It's a great example. They are not – this isn't going to work out the way they thought it was. They're already going in there slaughtering people wholesale. you know, and the media doesn't cover it here in the United States because it's Muslim on Christian crimes. And, oh God, there's one other sect of people, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, that were getting a big poke in the eye from the Al-Qaeda leadership there. I mean, literally, when I say poke in the eye, I mean, they're going out and killing them, you know, rounding them up in the streets and slaughtering them. We saw the video. It's been floating out there forever. It's been happening on this, you know, slow, steady scale for months and months and months now, you know, and we covered it, I don't know, last summer, last spring, last winter. That's nothing new.
Yeah. How hard could it possibly be for the leaders of the world, whether it be NATO or the UN or America or whatever, to have ensured that Al-Qaeda didn't take over the small country of Syria? I mean, how easy is that? It was already proven how easy these kinds of tasks are, right? He got rid of Al-Qaeda in less than like 6 months, and Obama was saying it'll take at least 10 years. Right? He's proven that they're liars and how easy and simple these things are. They just don't want to do it. They allow it to happen because they like destabilization, man. The people that rule the world like destabilization because they work best out of the chaos and the mayhem because that's most beneficial to their agenda.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, the Afghan withdrawal comes to mind. How botched could you make something? You know, how absolutely daft do you have to be to just pick up and leave everything behind, all the tanks, all the guns, everything, all the money. You couldn't even take the money with you, you know, and just leave it all behind for the Taliban.
Yeah.
With a bow on it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
And then our so-called Muslim allies that they supposedly rescued while they left the Americans there have now tried to blow things up and kill people. Imagine that.
Yeah. And, you know, they're just horrible. It's the last place I'd want to go. I'm watching some of these YouTubers out there trying to like make it look like, hey, you know, this Taliban-controlled Afghanistan isn't so bad after all. And, you know, it isn't until it is. And the minute it is bad, it all goes south fast and you're never heard from again. You know? So, you know, you can make it through.
Those weapons are a lot of money to terrorists and to radical groups, man. Those are top of the state-of-the-art weapons. They may not be the best that we have, but they're certainly good. Way better than most of them have in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? So, and they got it for free, dude. Think about that Christmas present. Here you go. Just have.
And when you stock that place with arms and weaponry and, you know, bullets and whatnot, you're going to put in enough to win any fight on the spot. You know what I mean? You're going to stock it well enough. You're the U.S. Army. You're going to stock it enough to win. If you get a full-on siege tomorrow morning, you're going to have enough ammo to get through it. Mm-hmm. So, in turn, it means that they now have enough to do the same thing. To turn that on anyone else and just do the same thing they want. It's a scary thing, but they screwed it up big time. I mean, they couldn't have screwed that up anymore. But anyway, Barry, with the few minutes we have left here, have you seen any of the memes about Franklin? You know who Franklin is?
Franklin who?
Franklin, he's like a turtle. He's like classic Franklin stories, right? The White House has been all over it lately, and it's pissing off Canada to no end. There's one here that says, Franklin discovers Buc-ee's is better than Tim Hortons, right? And he's standing out in front of a Buc-ee's restaurant, gas station.
Okay. All right.
This Canadian guy came out and said, basically, can you leave Canadian Franklin out of your filthy American pie holes, please? He's a beloved kid's character, not some right-wing prop to swing as a crudgel. And they've been swinging him hard. I mean, Franklin discovers narco terrorist boats, right? Franklin performs an exorcism on Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah. Oh, the White House has been trolling her, I've heard, just nonstop ever since she said stop using her song. So, yeah, it's funny. You know, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Streisand effect. You know, when you poke a bear, you're going to get bit. And I don't know. It just seems like I would contact a lawyer at that point, have him call the White House and say, what are you doing? I wouldn't do it publicly because you're just going to, your PR guy should know that. Don't pick a fight with Trump. Just don't do it.
They get so mad about
no sense.
Things because they have nothing to really get mad about. I mean, they have to get mad about America doing the right thing. Think about that. That's what the left gets mad about on X is Trump and ICE and all of these people doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they keep criticizing it, criticizing and criticizing it. They got nothing, man. That's it. And that just helps MAGA grow at the end of the day.
Franklin teaches a Canadian kid about parity and fair use.
Well, there you
Franklin
go.
becomes a U.S. citizen. He's standing there shaking hands with Trump. Franklin helps put tariffs on Canada.
That's right.
Franklin meets Pepe the Frog.
Uh-oh.
Franklin and Pete Hegseth laugh at communists.
There you go.
Franklin pledges allegiance to the American flag. Franklin joins the Freedom Convoy in Canada.
Excellent.
Franklin annexes Canada, the 51st state. He's got. Franklin discovers the Joe Rogan experience.
There you go. I'd like to see that, man. Yeah. They should, like you said, they shouldn't mess with Trump because we're like the masters of the meme, and they're not. So they really shouldn't after us in a stupid way, because then we just troll them to the max.
Franklin brokers Canada sale to the U.S. Franklin tells his classmates about George Soros, and he's got one of those whiteboards there with the Glenn Beck, look to it.
Yeah.
Franklin learns about MAGA. Franklin conquers Canada. It goes on and on, but I find it funny. These memes are actually really good. It's just, if you don't know who Franklin is, I never knew who he was either. He's just some kids. He's a turtle, and he just goes and plays with kids in the books and teaches them about stuff, right? So it's easy to make a parody of his covers, which is what they've done to, great success here, I would say.
Well, I mean, if the left were to meme, they'd probably make Franklin, be reading to kids to drag story, whatever that is. What was the thing? Drag story time reading to kids.
Oh, yeah. Power hour or something. Yeah. Yeah. Weird stuff. But
he had Franklin teaching kids about transgenderism. Let's just put it that way. So, yeah, I'd
there you go.
MAGA and be Republican and pledge allegiance to America. I'm all for it.
I love it, man. I love it. It's the way to be. Franklin, come to America. We got you.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I guess let's get into this in the few minutes we have left. I think we got about 4. Erica Kirk was on Fox today, and she's replying in the same way that Turning Point USA is replying to all the Candace Owens smears, and she just went off on her. Candace was making a big deal about, we don't know where Charlie's buried. And Erica went off and she said, there's a damn good reason you don't know where he's buried. Because we don't want his grave desecrated. We don't want crazy left-wing nutjobs going to it after you put it on your show and desecrate it. It's his final grave. It's his resting place. No, we're not going to tell you where it is. If you don't like it, guess what?
Right.
And she went off on several other things, as did Charlie's co-host. Neff is his last name. I'm struggling to remember his first, but we played that clip Sunday night. He went off on her as well. Said, look, we've been ignoring you. We'd be hoping you just, out of decency, would just go away and stop putting his name in your mouth every day. Right. But you won't. So we're going to invite you to a Turning Point event live stream, live on stage, open to the public, where you can come in and defend yourself in front of the entire Turning Point USA staff, Erica Kirk, anyone else you want to smear, And of course, she was busy. If they'd consulted me ahead of time, they'd know I do my podcast at 2:00 in the afternoon, so I can't possibly do this, which is a 10 times bigger event live at the same time. It's garbage, and I'm just so sick of hearing this. Tim Pool went off on her the other day because his house got shot up the other day.
Exactly.
His house had a drive-by, and he's just so sick of it. And as am I. It's disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting what some people are willing to do to get clicks.
I've been saying, I was getting ready to say, she's been getting a lot of heat from a lot of people, and the Tim Pool was what came to my mind. And of course, you can't play that video because it was pretty profanity laced. He was really upset.
It was spicy, yeah. He used quite a few words that are in no way, shape, or form allowed on the radio,
right?
To say the least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. I played it, and I'm like, oh, I could maybe bleep that out. No, I can't bleep all those out. That's way too many. Let's not share this on the show.
Right.
I come across great clips sometimes that I just can't share on the show because they're so profanity laced, and if I put a bleep in on every one of them, there'll be a beep 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 beep. It'll sound like a Morse code. So Barry, where can people find you online?
Find me on X, Bullhorn Barry.
Bullhorn Barry on X. And what were you going to say? We got about 20 seconds left.
Oh, wow. I don't even remember. I don't know. Can't remember.
All right. Well, I know what to say is I wish you and everyone out there a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. And from the bottom of our hearts, we each appreciate you all so much. Don't worry, we're not going anywhere quite yet. We will be back on Sunday night. Mark's got a lot more content for you to come tonight. But for now, we got to cut the show here and say Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, everyone. We'll see you on Sunday night.